In today's journey, we explore the profound truths and hidden battles within the realm of worship, a sacred space, often contested, where the human spirit seeks connection with the divine. But what happens when the sacred is threatened, when the enemy subtly infiltrates our praises? The enemy, like a serpent in the garden, seeks to deceive and distract us from true worship. He whispers doubts, fuels distractions, and preys on our vulnerabilities. He knows the power of music, of lyrics that stir the soul. But he also knows how to twist that power, to subtly shift our focus from the creator to the created. We must be vigilant, guarding our hearts and minds against his insidious influence. For when we worship, we engage in spiritual warfare, and the battlefield is not a distant land but the very sanctuary of our hearts. Remember Paul and Silas imprisoned for their faith, yet even in chains their spirits soared. Their voices, raised in prayer and song, shook the very foundations of the prison. Their worship was not a performance, but a raw and desperate cry to the Almighty. And in that moment of surrender, God moved. Chains were broken, prison doors swung open, and the impossible became reality. This, my friends, is the transformative power of true worship. It is a weapon against despair, a key to unlocking the miraculous. The enemy is cunning, patient. He knows he can't just storm the gates of heaven, so he takes his time, sowing seeds of distraction, shifting our focus from the one we worship to the act itself. We get caught up in the rituals, the music, the emotions, and forget the heart of it all. We become comfortable, complacent, and that's when he strikes. He replaces reverence with routine, intimacy with performance. Suddenly it's not about his presence anymore, but ours. Our voices, our talents, our needs. We become the center of our own little universe, and the king is left standing on the sidelines. He was the brightest of them all, Lucifer, the morning star, favored by God, adorned with beauty and talent, but pride took root in his heart, whispering seductive lies of power and dominion. He coveted God's throne, believing he could orchestrate a greater symphony of praise. His rebellion split the heavens, casting him down, a fallen angel consumed by his own ambition. And now he seeks to replicate that rebellion here on earth, twisting the melodies of our hearts, turning our worship into a discordant symphony of self-exaltation. We live in a world obsessed with spectacle, with the pursuit of the next dopamine rush. And somewhere along the way, that hunger seeped into our sacred spaces. The church became a stage, the pulpit a platform for performance. We craved the emotional high, the goosebumps, the feeling that we've somehow touched the divine. But true worship is not a show, it's a surrender. It's not about our performance, but his presence. It's about stripping away the facade, the lights, the smoke and mirrors, and standing bare before the one who sees our hearts. Some might call it progress, a modernization of faith. But when we trade the poetry of the Psalms, the raw honesty of David's pleas, for catchy tunes with forgettable words, what have we truly gained? Our songs of praise should stir the soul, not just tickle the ear. We must demand more from the words we sing, for they are the echoes of our hearts reaching out to the divine. Let the lyrics of our worship be worthy of the one we worship. We build stages, shine lights, lift voices on high, but somewhere along the way, the focus shifts. We start to see the messenger, not the message, the human vessel, not the divine light shining through. Remember, every leader, every singer, every musician on that stage, they are but instruments in the hands of the Almighty. Let us not mistake the instrument for the one creating the music. In the quiet stillness, in the whispers of the heart, lies a truth we must all seek: discernment. Not all that glitters is gold, and not all that sounds holy is of God. We must cultivate a spirit that can differentiate, a heart that can perceive the subtle nuances between true worship and a well-crafted facade. For the enemy is cunning, and his deceptions are many, but the truth, my friends, the truth will always ring clear. Hope is a powerful thing, my friends. And in the hallowed halls of worship, it's the worship leaders who hold the keys. They are the shepherds guiding the flock, the conductors orchestrating a symphony of praise. But this role, it ain't for the faint of heart. It demands a vigilance, a commitment to guarding the sacred from the profane. Their responsibility? To ensure that every note, every lyric, every raised hand draws us closer to the divine, not further away. The scriptures, they're filled with stories of true worship. David dancing with abandon before the Ark of the Covenant. Hannah pouring out her soul in prayer, her voice raw with longing. These weren't performances, no sir. These were cries from the heart, unfiltered and real. They understood that true worship, it's not about the lights or the stage, but about the posture of our hearts, the surrender of our all to something far greater than ourselves. The state of modern worship calls for more than just a mere acknowledgement of its flaws. It demands a conscious, deliberate effort towards reformation. We must strip away the layers of superficiality and rediscover the sacred heart of worship. It's about returning to the ancient paths, to a time when lifting our voices in song was an act of raw, unfiltered devotion. Let the music rise, not from a place of performance, but from the depths of a heart overflowing with gratitude and love for the divine. Let the lyrics speak of surrender, of humility, of the awe-inspiring majesty of God. This is the worship that moves mountains, the worship that brings heaven down to earth. This is the inheritance we must reclaim. And so we come to the crossroads, my friends. The journey of exploring authentic worship doesn't end with this revelation. It begins here. The choice rests in your hands, in the quiet whispers of your heart. Will you settle for the fleeting allure of spectacle, the hollow echo of empty rituals? Or will you rise to the challenge, embrace the vulnerability, the raw honesty of true worship? Remember, this isn't about pleasing man, but about pouring out your very essence before the Almighty. It's about rediscovering the sacred space where the human spirit meets the divine. We've journeyed together through the corridors of worship, peeled back the layers of tradition and trend to uncover the beating heart of true communion with the divine. But the journey doesn't end here. It continues within each of you. The battle for authentic worship is a deeply personal one, waged in the sanctuaries of our hearts. How will you choose to worship? In spirit and in truth, or in the shadows of spectacle?